In this new age of mindfulness and introspection, it can be easy to forget through our rote recitations in a service that the intent is actually to turn inward, that prayer is a meditation and our tradition's most ancient insight into modern understandings of mindfulness. Prayer in Hebrew is tefillah, that's from the reflexive verb lahitpalel, which means to judge oneself. And the reflexive nature of this word commands us toward introspection. These aha moments of reflection are admittedly hard to come by when prayer becomes very fixed rather than a spontaneous or creative pursuit. Recently, a friend of mine sent out a request for family and friends to sign up to recite a daily chapter of Tehillim, Psalms, for her mother who's ill. And as I am close with both she and her mother, I wholeheartedly wanted to participate. But first, how would I choose a psalm that I could repeat over and over every day that might provide some kind of inspiration? There are 150 of these poems. So as any great researcher would do, I typed most famous psalms into Google and was quickly presented with a top 10 list. Right away, I noticed Psalm 121. I hadn't realized that these were the same words I had chanted as a 17-year-old visiting the death camps in Poland and in my college years singing songs at Hillel Oneg's and at the funeral of a friend gone too soon whose yortzeit was coming up that week. These were all from the book of Psalms. So seeing that this chapter was available on the shared document, I quickly signed up and I began my daily recitation. The email with the signups clearly stated that despite the mystical belief that reciting Psalms can have healing powers, more so, the purpose was just that the recipient knows and feels spiritually restored, and whatever the outcome, she's feeling loved and remembered. Day one, I start. I recite Psalm 121. I am deeply thinking about these words, both Hebrew and English, and I'm trying to concentrate as though through my deep concentration, it will have healing powers. Day two, I click on the link and I start to find commentary on the verses I'm reciting, and I'm very proud of myself that I'm taking this task so seriously. Day three, I take out a few different versions of the Tanachim, the Bibles that are on my shelf, and I begin to look at different translations. Skip to day 8. Now I'm remembering my friend's yortzeit and how at her first memorial a year later, friends led us in this psalm. Day 9, I remembered to do the recitation, but it was just before bed. I uttered the words quickly. I was tired. Day 10 was just as rushed as my family packed for a camping trip. And then there was day 11. On day 11, my family arrives ahead of the other 2 families that we are set to meet at the campsite. And as we sit in our folding chairs, looking out onto the Santa Ynez Mountains, I open the screenshot of my psalm on my phone, and I begin to chant the now familiar Esayena el heharim meyayin yavo ezri. I shall raise my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? And I just let go. I took a deep breath and exhaled. I had a realization my help comes when I let go, when I help myself. Gone was the angst of preparing my students for the next school year. Gone was the rush to research middle schools for my daughter or think of the next thing I had to clean in my house. I had no cell phone reception in this campsite. I could just sit. I could only enjoy. I could only let go. I could only raise my eyes to the mountains and be. It took 11 days of reciting the same words over and over to reach just one aha moment, one tefillah, one mindful moment. But the work was worth the reward. I look forward to High Holiday Liturgy. The words bring me back to my childhood, listening to my dad lead his choir in melodies composed by his own cantor. High Holiday Liturgy makes me smile because I'm guided by nostalgia, which is not necessarily a moment of mindfulness or introspection. And yet, I put in the work every year because I know this year might just be the year for epiphanies, inspirations, and revelations, and it might not. But I can be patient for my next aha moment.